probably around like 11 or 12. My one of my childhood friends came up with the name Busy because I was just getting busy at a young age on the court. And then one of my best friends, she's a girl, honestly. I used to be with her like every day. She was nice at ball. Her name was Chicken, and she gave me the name Bones because I was skinny. So I'm like, I put two and two together. I'm like, Busy Bones. That's gonna be my name, and it just went from there ever since.
Before the nickname Busy Bones was ever thought of, he was born Nashawn Lee Hyland, September 14, 2000, in Wilmington, Delaware. Welcome to Before the Accolades.
Kind of crazy out here sometimes. My family on my back. My people that been coming up with me, trying to get them out the hood with me.
His mama said he'd been hooping since he was 2 years old.
He's been playing basketball since he was like 2 years old because my son, I have an older son that played basketball. He's 5 years older than Sean, so he started out young. And so basketball came natural to Sean.
He was influenced by his two older brothers, especially his middle brother, because that's the one he really grew up with. And Bones would go to the park with him, and that's only going to get you better. You're going to be playing against older competition earlier. And that definitely paid off for Bones. He attended St. George's Technical High School in Middletown, Delaware, where he was a 4-year varsity player.
Impressive. Most impressive.
He ain't never see the JV floor. As a freshman on varsity, he averaged 10.9 points per game. And that's the least he ever averaged in his high school career. Every other season, it was 20 and up. His junior season, he averaged 27 and was named first team All-State.
Times is getting harder, who gon' help me heal this pain? You just pushed me further, I was soaking in the rain. Stand by me regardless if you notice I didn't change. Shower holy water when I'm burning in the flames. Fix me when I'm damaged, trying hard to manage. When we in a crisis, tell me not to panic. This bond must be priceless. Promise you won't vanish for all my sacrifices. Stay down, we for lifeless.
But it was that same year, Bones Hyland would go through a life-changing moment on March 25th, 2018. 3 weeks after his junior season had ended, Bones had returned home around 7:30 p.m. from an AAU basketball game.
I was in my room, so boom. Right after that, I probably was almost falling asleep, honestly, but I just kept like hearing something in my ear, or just like I was on the phone with my friend though, but like it was just like something was just telling me like, just don't go to sleep. Don't go to sleep. I'm on the phone with my best friend. His name is Hassan Perkins. I start to smell it first. I start to smell charcoal or something. I start to smell it. So I'm like, oh, I live in the hood. It's a lot of people always have barbecues and stuff, like just randomly. So I'm like, oh, they must be barbecuing outside or something in their backyard or something. So I'm like, oh, it's not a big deal. After that, I start to like see the black stuff coming in my room. I'm like, that's not normal. Like, don't think it ever comes in my room. So I start to see it come through the little windows. First, I immediately like just hopped up. I closed the laptop. I still had the phone in my hand. So when I go to open the door with the phone, I see lots of flames of fire. So I'm like, whoa, what's going on? When I see the flames of fire, I immediately closed the door. I pushed it back because I'm like, no, this can't be true. This can't be true. After I closed the door, I'm like, oh, snap, Tracy, my house on fire. My house on fire. I immediately dropped the phone, closed it real fast. So I had time to think, because if you just open the door, the flames going to come in. And if you closed it, it got to have time to burn the door down. So I got more time to think. I go to the window. My house was kind of old, so the windows never open. So I'm like, nah, I know these windows ain't gonna open. So I think I'm done. So I dropped to my knees. I start praying. I'm like, there's no way I think this is over. After all I've been through, after all I've done, it ain't no way. Like I have more life to live. So boom, I go to the window. I try to open it. It didn't open. So I go back to my knee. I start crying. I'm like, Dad, it's over. Like, basically, I'm done. Everything started to catch on fire. So I had 3 windows. The first window started to catch on fire. So I moved away from that window. So I'm panicking. I'm trying to open it. It doesn't open. So I go to the second one. This was the middle window. I try to open it. It doesn't open. So I go to the third window. This is the window I always look out of. So I go to that window. I open it. It doesn't open. So I went back to my knees. I got back up, got to me, get right back up. And I went to the window. I opened it. And I'm like, as I open it, it's people outside. They're like, Bones, we need you. You got to jump.
The fact he was able to overcome this says so much about Bones Hyland. To be able to overcome this at 16, 17 years old. You had to jump out a second-story window. That caused you to suffer a career-threatening leg injury. You tragically lost your grandmother, who was 59 years old at the time, and a little cousin who you considered a brother, who was only 11 months old. This would have caused so many people to go into depression, but this young man Bones was able to look at this and see that this story and his ability to overcome this and the fact he's still alive is more reason to keep going.
I got portraits of my grandmama and my baby brother on my left arm. Every day I kiss my arm, just being thankful and just knowing that they still here with me and they're my guardian angels.
And Bones went crazy his senior year. He dropped 40 on opening night. He led his team to the state semifinals, averaged 26 points per game, and won Delaware Player of the Year. He left St. George's the all-time leading scorer. Even though he did all of this in high school, because he was in Delaware and there's not too much of a spotlight on them, Bones was only ranked a 3-star recruit by ESPN, but he was ranked the top player in Delaware, so don't get it twisted. Less than 24 hours after graduating high school, Bones Hyland decided to commit to Virginia Commonwealth University in Richmond, Virginia.
Rich what?
Richmond. And he chose them over schools such as UConn, Temple, Delaware, Boston College, and others. When Bones Hyland arrived, that boy was ready to hoop, man.
I was born ready.
He set the VCU freshman record for three-pointers in a season with 63 of them things. And he's still currently the record holder at the time of this video. But we been knew Bones Hyland was a deadly shooter since he was giving them boys buckets on the courts in Philly in high school. He was named to the Atlantic 10 All-Freshman Team. Played in all 31 games as a freshman for VCU. Started over 9 games. Started the final 7. The coach had already anticipated a big sophomore season for him. His sophomore season at VCU, Bones Hyland averaged 19.5 points per game, 4.2 rebounds, and 1.9 steals a game. He scored his college career high of 31 points against Western Carolina University on December 31st, 2020. And he was named Atlantic 10 Conference Player of the Year as a sophomore. So just like I would do and you probably would have done, Bones Hyland was smart and leveraged that momentum and said, okay, I'm going to declare for the NBA draft then. On April 17, 2021, he declared for the NBA draft. And a few months later, in July, he was drafted 26th overall by the Denver Nuggets.
As you shit me, my son got the Denver Nuggets jeans.
He was actually VCU's first draft pick in over 11 years.
Yeah, that brother's starving.
That's been a great decision by the Nuggets.
You feel like you're already a fan favorite.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is?
Just the passion, the confidence, and the swagger that I bring.
At the time of this recording, Bones Hyland is currently the Nuggets record holder for most three-pointers made in a season by a rookie. He's averaging 9.8 points per game coming off the bench, but he's definitely shown flashes of brilliance and starter potential. I expect 21-year-old Bones Hyland to just continue to ascend up because it feels like he has a desire to be great. He's never going to forget that life-changing experience, and that keeps him going and keeps that hunger inside of him, and that's always going to be there. Bones is really an inspiration to his community. The Wilmington, Delaware Fire Department pulled up to one of his games and gave him his own fire jacket. I'm sure the people that were there that day when he had to jump out that window couldn't even imagine that he'd recover and be in the NBA. His story is just a testament to always keep going, and I'm looking forward to seeing him next season with Jamal Murray, Michael Porter Jr. out there. All three of them around Jokic. Woo! It's finna get crazy in Denver. That's all your boy the Big Potato has for you. Thank you for checking out another episode of Before the Accolades. If you like this, hit that like, subscribe button for me, please. Let me know in the comments how much you rock with Bones Hyland, if there's any information you thought I should have included, and what athlete you want to see next on Before the Accolades.